Yes, YouTube, welcome back to another video, and I am currently 8 days post show. So we are going to go through in today's video how I'm going to guarantee to build as much tissue as I possibly can. I'm going to guarantee that growth, right? And that comes from the gym and what we do in the gym, where I am heading right now, sipping on the pre. So there is a lot of things in our control. If you are in a gaining phase now, or you're starting a gaining phase, or you're nearly done with your fat loss phase, whatever phase you're in now, you're probably in a gaining phase or not too far away from doing exactly this. So we are going to break that down. Now, training wise, we're going to go through in the gym. Non-training wise, what are we looking at in terms of this gaining phase? So I am obviously coming from stage condition, the leanest I've ever been, right, competing. So what I have done this week is purposely not been an idiot with food, purposely not gone and blown out anything there. I have stuck to my calories to a T. The reason I have done that is my training day food today has been able to go from 1,800 calories up to 2,700 calories. Now, my weight actually dropped this morning to below my stage weight. So it just goes to show how responsive the body is at this time. Now, my food will probably need to go up. You know, if that is lower again tomorrow, my food will probably go up, which will see training day come to 2,800, maybe even 2,900 calories. So we're looking at 1,000 calories plus of an increase to be able to fuel this training. And that's because I've been consistent. So actually being consistent with your food, allowing that food to have a nice increase to fuel this training, that's what we need. And that's why I've had those drops now this morning, because I have been able to just train like an absolute monster again, which we're keeping relatively chilled. I'll go through that today as well, but that's the reason why my body is a lot fresher. We're ready to go. So remember, it's a long old gaining phase ahead. If you can set yourself up well and not go blowing over those calories straight away, you are going to be able to push your base nice and high. Remember, that food is then fuel for this training. So because I have been able to push this food up, I am feeling fueled, I'm feeling ready to go, and that is going to put me in a fantastic spot. Now, the session today is still relatively lower volume. It is no silly like crazy 50-50 reps, just because my body is still recovering. You know, I have just come off a 25-week prep where I've pushed my body to its absolute limits. You know, there's plenty parts of me that still feel battered hormonally. I won't be in the best spot right now, so it would be stupid for me to get in there and go absolutely crazy. So that is what we are not going to do. But everything I'm going to go through today kind of applies to what we're looking at now, but once we're just in the groove as well, and those things that you can keep in through that whole entire gaining phase and absolutely nail it, full of progress. So I'm pulling up to the gym now. I'm going to sip on the pre. We've got this sour gummy Perform, which is a very nice flavor. Cherry fizz is still the top spot, but this one is still very good. Very good, that is, with some ice in there as well. So pre-food is down, pre-workout is going down. I am in for push today, so let's get this absolutely drilled, and let's drop some knowledge bombs whilst we're at it, and I'll park without crashing my car. So let's get it. Right, fellas, we're in. First things first, before we go through growing as a whole, starting with abs. Now, judges' feedback, top thing was abdominal detail was a strong point, right? Now, if you told me that 5 years ago, 2 years ago, I'd have said, not a chance. What I've done in that time is absolutely drilled abs. If you've been watching these videos, you will see I always nail my ab work. So get your ab work in. If you are going into a gaining phase now, your abs are a muscle. They will develop. My abs have never been as blocky as they are now. And that's because I've trained them hard the whole time and progressed them. So that is ridiculously important. If you're not doing that, start doing that. Do not skip them. That will pay off. Then, the thing you will see as well I've not just come in now and changed every single movement. What we want to do is stick with the movements that we've got. Get very good at them. If you are constantly bouncing around, you are never going to absolutely rinse a movement. You're never going to get the most out of it. If I do a certain chest press today, and then a different one next week, and then a different one the week after, I might have the handles set up wrong. I might not be in the groove as much. I don't know when it really starts to feel heavy and get the feeling of when I've got another rep there. So to get the absolute most out of a muscle group, have the movements there that feel good for you in your gym. If you've got less options, that's fine. Rinse absolutely what you've got. Get them locked in terms of your program. Stick with them. Spend the time there pushing them up. That is the base of absolutely everything. So this session is the same as when I was on prep. Just obviously, I'm going to have a much better chance now, these next few weeks, these next few months, of progressing them. So stick with your program. So most important thing now that I'm doing is resetting all of these movements, right? Coming out of a fat loss phase, it is the perfect time to do that. Think of the run of progression that you've got if you do things properly. Food's only going to go up, scale weight's only going to go up, energy is only going to go up. If you waste that by overshooting your load, you have literally wasted that opportunity there to set your base. If you are overshooting the load now, and for the next 5 weeks you're trying to lift that, before you know it, 5 sessions have completely gone that you've wasted. So set those numbers now with perfect execution. Would rather in this situation now undershoot that load slightly, get that perfect, have that actual run of progress now. So coming off the back of a deload, you can do that. Coming off the back of illness, you can do that. You should just do that if you feel like your form has like massively gone downhill and numbers are just stalling. But especially changing phases, going into a gaining phase, for example, the perfect time to do that. So when you are reversing up into a gaining phase, just make sure every single movement is set, it's controlled, the tension is on, execution is there, so you can actually then accurately drive that up. Guess what happens when we accurately drive that up? We are going to grow tissue. That is that stimulus there, guaranteed. So set the base for that guarantee. That should be your main focus. That's my main focus now. This is the first time I've done this push session since the show there. So ridiculously important. Laterals in now, so I've got 2 sets, so you'll see full control, no rushing. Take that there within the rep ranges. 2 sets here. And the reason we've got this in first, I can nail side delts whilst I'm fresh. I'm then going to be nice and warm with that shoulder joint going into my first press. So in terms of injury prevention, nailing side delts, and then being just in the groove of the session going into the press and nice and stable, no brainer for me, getting an isolation in. So most important thing with those there, we want to be able to get to our failure reps. That is where we are going to cause that growth response, right? So if you are speeding up towards the end of your set, guess what's going to happen? The movement is going to fail. I don't want to think on a lateral raise, I can't get my hand up anymore. I want to think my side delt has completely failed. So keep your eccentric control the exact same. And then obviously as you get through the set, your concentric will slow down. But if you start to just try and get the set done as quick as possible and you're just moving the weight up and down, up and down, up and down, you will just fail. You'll run out of air, you'll just lose composure, and the movement itself will break down. The muscle might not have actually failed. Keep the tension on, keep the control there, control the change of direction, and then you can actually make sure the muscle itself has failed, which is the key. So with the rep ranges we're working in now, I've coached for 9 years, right? So a lot of this, I'm going off essentially what is my own research with hundreds of clients, right? In terms of weighing up the pros and cons, in terms of stimulus, progression, enjoyment, time in the gym, avoiding injury, all of these things. What I'm essentially looking at with any of our clients programming or mine now, so typically I just love that 6 to 12 rep range for most work, right? With some isolation work, if we're on the lower end of that, it is usually very difficult to keep that tension on the working muscle that little bit more when we're working with heavier load. So I would stay towards the higher end of that. For example, we might give one of the boys there 2 8 to 12 sets, just stay in the 8 to 12 rep range, right, for an isolation work. We might drop slightly lower sometimes with a press or with a bigger movement. The reason being with this is we're not in them low rep ranges where there's going to be a high chance of us just wasting the set. There's a big risk for injury there when we're using like a lot of load, say for 4 reps. So that's also going to be very, very fatiguing. We're avoiding those. We'll stay in that 6, 7 to 12, 13 rep range. The reason being is we can maintain a good level of composure within that rep range, and the set won't last absolutely ages. With the control I've got, if I did 15 to 20 reps every set, my session would take me absolutely ages, right? I don't want to actually do that. So in terms of us still having composure there whilst we get to those failure reps, that's why I really like that 7 to 12 rep range. It allows us to work with control. It allows us to get to the end of that rep range without the set taking absolutely ages and feeling like we need to rush through. So that's why I really, really like that 7 to 12 rep range. If we can manage fatigue there, use loads that is just sensible, it's not going to absolutely batter us for a ridiculously low or a ridiculously high rep range, that's why I really like to fall there. And typically we'll have a set where we're towards the lower end of that for that top set, and then a set where we might be ever so slightly towards the top end of that for that back off set. Or we might have 2 sets within that same rep range, and we might start with the heavier load and then need to bring it down to stay there. So that's what we've got now. The one change I am making with this session is putting the chest press first, just because I got my feedback. The judges said I need a bigger chest, right? So I'm going to prioritize that chest work that a little bit more. So both presses the same, just chest press is going to come before the shoulder press in this session today. So see there, that is 6 reps. So that's the absolute lowest I'll go in reps for 1. I was very happy with execution, the feel of it, and you can see, because I've got control of it, it's still a good productive 6 where I actually feel my chest doing, like I'm not going for any stupid reps today, but that is like the lower end of where I want to be. So I'm happy with form. So I know I can push for 7 next week, and then that'll soon be 8, 9, 10 towards the top end. Also, this back off is quite a lot lighter. So that's another thing. I've got 6 reps there, but I want to make sure I get at least in the 8 to 12 now with that back off, right? So if you do have a top set that was a clean lower end of that rep range, that's fine, that's all good. Just make sure that it's not stuck 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, then you just need to bring that down a little bit. And make sure you back off, you're actually dropping enough to stay within that rep range. Don't have 2 sets really where you're just scraping 6. Now, shoulder press. This is one where if you take a shoulder press to true failure, it's a very uncomfortable set, right? It's hard, it's difficult. You press it overhead, it just feels grim, right? So what a lot of people do, say if you are logbooking and you're trying to get 9 reps, is just rush out, spend as little time as at the bottom as possible, or start to cut range. So one thing I love to do with a shoulder press is kill the rep dead completely at the bottom, right? It's not like a dead stop to where we're relaxing and then we're pressing, but just again, splitting that rep into 2. So I'm gonna sit right into that stretch, control, pause, and then drive. Otherwise, I start to cut range, I start to bounce on my shoulder press, and I waste time, and I get less stimulus and more fatigue because I start to lift loads I can't even lift, and my shoulders don't grow, right? So try that with your shoulder press. Try and just kill them dead. Don't relax. Keep that tension on, just make sure you're braced, tiny little micro pause, and then power through. So let's get them. Right, pec deck for me now. 1 week I start with this, the other I have it in now. So what I'm thinking about doing, again, just getting into the stretch with full control, and then it's just that upper arm across. That's it, that's all I'm thinking about. With your pec deck, forget about your hands, get into that full stretch, drive that upper arm across until you feel that pec contract, spend a bit of time there, rinse and repeat. Do not think about anything else with your chest isolations. So moving on to tries, we have got the JM press. Now this is like the meat and potatoes for tries. I really like having this one. So I'm not a fan of dips, never really have been. So that's why me just having something that's a little bit more load, nice full stretch drive through. We're going with a JM press, and then we've got a normal tricep extension. So I will show you both now.
So very, very, very good session, and hopefully you took some knowledge bombs from that, because that is all very, very, very important stuff within training, right? And the reason why I love this so much and I'm so passionate about it is I see both sides of it, right? And I was on the wrong side. I wasted so many times, and this is why I'm glad that I wasted that time, because now it makes me a better coach. I've had to learn the hard way. And the reason why I go on with these things and I target these things is because genetically, I cannot make progress just winging it. So I have to understand actually what is going to guarantee that progress and what can I manage to make up for that. Because some lads can go into the gym, just do what feels decent, and they'll blow up. That's fine. That's great. There's loads of lads like that, right? You most likely are not that 1% genetically. And even if you are that 1% genetically, if you can still do the things that will give you, again, then that extra few percent because you're setting things up properly, it's lights out, right? So it makes sense for everybody to focus on these things. We have guys come to us time and time again where they have pushed up in a gaining phase, but what they've done is they've just got too soft. If you are in a surplus and you are not actively and accurately progressing your training enough to grow muscle, you will just get fat. And then you just have to get rid of that body fat to get to the exact same position that you are in. So not pushing too hard, and I can go into this in further videos in terms of a gaining phase, not pushing in too high of a surplus. There is only so much muscle tissue as naturals that we can build at one time. If we are in too high of a surplus, you are literally just going to accumulate more body fat than you need to, and it will only have a negative outcome from that. You do not need it. If you do that and you push properly and accurately and sensibly, and you do everything that I have spoken about in this video, and you be patient, you reset when it is needed, do not waste a full gaining phase. The amount of times I will see it when people have wasted a full gaining phase because they look at their training and their training is not good enough to grow. And genetically, clearly they're not that 1% and it's not doing the job. It's not cutting it, right? So this is why I love this stuff, because it is all within our control, but it does actually need setting up properly and it needs paying attention to it. And this is the thing as well, like you don't have to be stupid. You see all the optimal stuff right now, like people take it too far. I'm going off what has legitimately produced hundreds of results that we have shared at Coaching Coliseum, right? Hundreds of results. So you can't argue that. That is guys from different countries, different heights, different ages, different everything there, right? It is applying the things off the base of everything that we've gone through and then putting that into actual sessions that people can follow and nailing it. So take that stuff, apply it, and actually make some progress because you're capable of doing it. And the better you get at that training, the more you will enjoy training. I say it all the time. Better you get at training, more you're going to enjoy it, the more progress you're going to make. And that's why, because I've had to figure this stuff out and learn it the hard way, I absolutely love my training now. Because I know I've got pull tomorrow, I'm going to progress that session. Like that is just an opportunity there for progress. And when you are in a gaining phase, people take their foot off the gas so much because it's not the constant scale weight coming down, getting leaner like it is in a fat loss phase. But if you don't spend that time pushing consistently, you're not going to grow the tissue and you are not going to make the changes to your physique. So you have to commit to those things. So any questions, make sure you drop them in the comments. And of course, if you want things set up properly for you, your gym, your schedule, your volume that you can handle, link is in the description. Apply, take 1 minute, and then you will have your application response from me there, breaking down exactly the steps of what we need to take to get you rolling. So I am going to go up. We've got one console call now. We've then got the team call. So I was 76 kilo this morning. My scale weight has actually come down. So I will let you know the game plan in the morning with what I will be doing, because if scale weight stays lower, we will move food up. So big work evening. I'll catch you in the morning.
So we're out and we are stepping. I was 76.5 this morning, so actually 0.5 up from yesterday. I was 76.4 last Tuesday. So I think what we're going to do is just see how that moves. Would not surprise me if that drops back down. Digestion has been much better. That was the one thing I've been kind of trialing out these last few days. I think because I've been having quite a lot of veg, I think it is the veg that is just frying me a little bit. I took that out for pineapple in both the meals. I normally have veg yesterday and the day before, and that has felt much better. So that is very nice. That was definitely needed, and it is just a case of process of elimination in those scenarios. So problem solved with that. So more than likely, I would say I've got check-in tomorrow. I think food will be moved up. I'm not thinking of more food in terms of, I get to eat more. Obviously that's nice when it comes, but the goal for me is to just be able to fuel training, hold this condition, and also get healthy. I do not want to stay to a point where I'm dropping back down below, you know, show day weight. It's just from a health standpoint, especially as a natural, the only things I've got right now are obviously natural supplementation and my food and my sleep. So I need to make sure they are prioritized so I can get back to full health post show as quickly as possible. So that is pretty much the only reason why I do want more food, if it is needed. If it is not needed, that is absolutely fine. I am all good plowing on. 2.7 on a training day is a decent amount there, so that is no stress whatsoever. So we're just going to go get steps done. I have 10k steps to do, so what I've been doing is getting back from training. I just smashed pull, and then I've been preparing post-workout and then going to get the steps done. So that is it for today's video. Make sure you drop a comment with any questions. Make sure you drop the video a like if you have watched this far. It is very much appreciated, and hit that sub. And then the Perform link and the link for coaching are also down below as well, so you're covered on all bases. Thank you very much for watching. I will catch you in the next one. Peace.